Some are born into privilege, yet their souls long for something greater. Such was the life of St. Frances of Rome, a noblewoman whose path was not one of ease but of sacrifice, faith, and unyielding love. At the tender age of 13, Frances was given no choice. Her future was decided for her. She was forced into marriage, bound by duty rather than desire. Yet within her heart she yearned for something far beyond wealth or status. She longed for God. In her sister-in-law, Frances found a kindred spirit, and together they sought to turn their privilege into a force for good. They walked the streets of Rome, not as women of nobility, but as servants to the suffering. When plague ravaged the city, leaving a trail of despair, tragedy struck her own household. Frances lost her beloved child. But grief did not paralyze her. It propelled her forward. Instead of retreating into sorrow, she gave herself completely to others, tending to the sick, feeding the hungry, and comforting the dying. Her home became a hospital, a sanctuary where the poor and abandoned found not only healing, but dignity. Her devotion did not go unnoticed. With the blessing of the Pope, Frances established a community of women, the Oblates of Mary, who followed the Benedictine rule, a life of prayer, service, and self-denial. They did not withdraw from the world, but engaged with it, bringing the light of Christ into the darkest corners of suffering. And yet, her trials were not over. After years of devotion, duty called her back home. With the passing of her husband, she might have sought solitude, retreating into a quiet life of prayer. But Frances was not one to fade into the background. She continued to serve, living not for herself, but for others, until her final breath. St. Frances of Rome is the patron saint of widows and motorists, a fitting tribute to her role as a protector and guide, both in life and beyond. St. Frances of Rome, pray for us as we walk the path of holiness.